before about retailing, and we can see the value of the customer there, the role that they play. We can see how it can make us profitable, really good. But if you really want to build your business, then having duplication, getting other people to do 1,500 points a month, then really starts to change the dynamic of your business experience quite a bit. Okay, so when we say teach 3 to reach 3, so Mike's just drawn up here 3 people that you sponsor as business builders. These aren't customers, correct?
Right.
So what do we teach these 3 to do?
1,500.
1,500. You're giving all the best answers. So each of them doing 1,500. Yeah? How?
And 5 customers.
Yeah, retail sales. Yeah? So if you're doing 1,500 points in retail sales, this is what I love about this is we taught this a year ago, but look at how it suddenly changes with that subtle change that we've brought in over these last few months. You're doing 1,500 points in retail. Each of these are doing 1,500 points in retail. That gives you 6,000 points. If you do that in 1 month, what do you call that?
Executive.
21 club.
Oh,
Yeah?
That's right.
But yeah, you'll be well past executive as well. But you'll have 21 club. So you're going to have retail commission, free product, 21 club bonuses. So that's the teach 3. So you're going to teach 3 people to do 1,500 points in retail. You're going to lead by example as you do that. So what's the next part of the equation here? Teach 3. What's the reach 3 bit mean?
Teach each of those 3 to reach 3 more.
3 more people who
Okay.
want to have a business and some ongoing income.
Okay. So you teach them to go out there and do 3 again.
Right.
Yeah. Now, who's good at maths? Who can tell you that up?
Dave Johnson.
Dave Johnson. Who's that? There you go. So you got 1, 2, 3. So that's 6,000. Yeah? 6,000, 6,000. 18,000. 19,500. That's pretty good volume. So teach 3 to reach 3. Tell me what you think are the fundamental benefits here, because William raised a good point before. He drew out, and he said the model that he worked with kind of left it broken for him a little bit. He's got some rebuilding to do. What does this do to your organization? If you've got teach 3 to reach 3 that are doing that 1,500 points in retail,
Strengthens it.
it strengthens it. Yeah? But one of the critical challenges that we saw that you've experienced, one of the critical things that you've experienced that was a problem for many, was they get to silver and fall out of qualification.
Right.
Yeah? And then, where's my leadership bonus? I don't earn it.
No.
Yeah? And the reason for that was you didn't have the structure or the depth in your business because it was all that self-consumption.
Right.
Now, when we changed the rule before, not that long ago, it comes into effect this month, of course, when we announced it and said self-consumption doesn't count
Right.
for personal qualification. It counts in all of your total rebates, but it doesn't count for personal qualification. That's very frightening, yeah? But can you see how that change, that shift, leads us to this type of behavior that gives you a very different experience?
Yes.
It does, doesn't it? I want to ask Mike a question. Mike, we've been talking a lot about customers, and you're an ultimate networker. You're one of our top 10 income earners. What role does this focus on customers play from your perspective?
I think I've said this many times. In terms of being able to market the business, because that's what I really enjoy doing, it's hard to sell a business based on self-consumption because the question always comes, you probably had it, who does the selling?
Right.
And so network marketing has been critiqued because of that question, who does the selling? And what do we always answer? Well, I guess everybody does, right? And, so people don't, well, why are they asking the question in the first place? Because they have not yet seen something that makes sense to them. In the world of business, we have to have customers, and yet we don't really show that in our model. What I like doing is I like drawing. I'm building an organization that's servicing customers. And so here's my customer base, and this is going to continue to grow over time. Just keeps growing. But this base here, for the most part, as we've seen through time, is cyclical. So it's kind of like a company. Company has turnover in terms of the employees. But a corporation over time has more and more and more and more customers. That's the same as my business. So what this does is it validates my ability to actually sell the business.
Tell me, that's a great example that you've defined there. Can you see one of the great concerns that people have when they're prospecting as well is people's interpretation of the business model. Have you ever had that? Where people misinterpret it? It sounds dodgy, it sounds unusual, I can't understand how that makes sense, what exactly do you have to do? And there is that just ickiness that often people feel, which starts to get eliminated as a result of being customer focused and retail driven, coupled with the duplication of building your team. Because now, I don't qualify through self-consumption. You don't have to, we want everyone to be on auto ship, right? To be an example and to lead from the front. But there's no, you have to buy this to qualify for your commission checks, right? Most people find that outside of network marketing uncomfortable. So I've got to buy my rank. I've got to buy my qualification. Oh, I don't like the sound of that. So people outside find that unusual, and it doesn't sit right with them. But when you say, we've got great products, and we just want to share them with people, the more you share, the more you make, and you can build a team and help them to do that, the more they share, the more you make as well, because you're a team leader. And then you show them those 3 pools. See how much simpler that becomes. So the reputation becomes...
When I first got started, what was really evident to me was how product-driven Nikken is. We used to say the product moves the people, not the people moving the product. And so as the pendulum shifted all the way over to the recruiting model, because the early adopters are typically network marketers, particularly in the case of the Western Hemisphere, because in the Eastern, where Nikken came from, was primarily a direct sales company. And by the way, the top income earner in history, Yoshimura, $2 million man, $2 million in 1 month, that's what he taught his people to do. And so we then came to the West, adopted the network marketing model, which is the exact opposite, the self-consumption model. So the early adopters and network marketers, what do? They sell the business. And so the shift went away from the product focus more to the business focus. And it goes through the cycle that network marketing companies go through, which is why network marketing companies come and go. Because the early adopters, they just jump from one to the next, try to get that repeat, jump to the next, try to get that repeat. But who stays in business? It's the companies. If you look at the billion-dollar companies in network marketing or direct sales, they have a customer focus. They have a robust customer focus. When you touch the company in whatever way you touch the company, online or whatever, you feel the presence of their customer focus. And there's no confusion there. If you don't believe in the product, why would you ever go into the business? What are you selling if you're doing that?
Right.
And so what this establishes, this process of going from the retail, going from the first section, which is the retail profits, then into the recruiting, then into the residual, what this establishes is the value of the products and thus the value of the business.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I think what we have up there is we've got the cart before the horse. I still think there should be a distinct section of you're a new person, your first job is to find customers.
Yeah.
And in the process, you're going to get to that. But there needs to be a section of just getting at customers, because otherwise when I go into McDonald's, I want just the fries. Don't try to sell me the franchise.
Yeah.
I'll taste your fries first, then I'll go to the franchise. But this looks like we're selling the franchise again.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
that should be
if I may,
the direct sales.
You can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You don't want a pendulum swing too far the other way either. In other words, what makes this business robust and fantastic and everything we love is that it's 2 oars. You gotta roll with both oars. One is the retail engine, the other one is the recruiting engine. And they are not mutually exclusive. Some of your consultants become customers, some of your customers become consultants.
Yeah. And what I would emphasize here is we've mapped out a structure, because from a compensation plan payout perspective, you get rewarded on structure and volume. Yeah, you need both. If you've got all the volume but no structure, you don't get the same payout. If you've got the structure but no volume, then it's just a house of cards. So you need to have both in order for it to work. But what we haven't given here is a timeline. Yeah. For example, I mentioned here, if you do that in 1 month, then you've done a Business 21 Club, yeah? But you might spend your first month gathering your customers and getting your 1,500 points, searching for business partners, and then your second month, you might go, okay, I think I've got some good leads here. I've got my customer foundation. Now I'm going to go out there and I've got these guys I'm going to help get their customers. And you do your 21 Club in your second month versus your first. Maybe your first month you're doing exactly what you said and getting your customers. I think it's important to highlight that because, again, one of the old messages from Nikken 1.0 was all-out massive action, right? And speed is critical. Speed is critical and it is important. But at the same time, we've got to be realistic with what we're currently doing as existing business builders. Yeah. So right now, most people don't come in and do a 21 Club in their first month. Yeah. That doesn't happen. Okay. And that's okay. And we do say we want to get people silver quickly. You can do it in 3 months. You can do it in your first month. But realistically, that doesn't happen all that much either. So I think it's important to understand what pace, and it goes back to what I was talking about before in the last meeting, how we need to lead with questions.